So yeah, let me share my screen. My Eclipse got loaded. Yeah, now coming over here. Let me see, share. And here you go. I hope my Eclipse is visible to you. And coming over here. And let me share my files. Okay. So, yeah. Can you see the files? Yeah, please. Okay, so let me know when we can start. Okay.
You can start.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss about the Deque and the file handling. So that is what left, right? So let's talk about that. So
Q
first
and
let's,
DQ,
Deque, and then 1 second. I think I didn't add extension. Next. First, let's talk about the file handling. Okay, and then we will move on with the DQ and Q and DQ. So file handling in Java. So what exactly do we do in the file handling? File handling means we are going to write a program to interact with the files on our system. Okay, so file handling in Java means it is a program, okay, to interact with the files on the computer. Okay, so it allows the Java program to do the CRUD operations. Okay, it allows the Java programs to perform CRUD. So what is that CRUD? We will say like CRUD operations, we will say. Okay, so what is that? So C, that is for create, R, that is for read, and then we will say U, that is for update, we can say. Okay, so update, so we can say like that as update, or we can say like write, append, any name we can give. Then D, we can say it like a delete. Okay, so these operations we can do. So basically what we will do is we will connect to the database for storing the data. Okay, retrieve the data, we will modify the data, right? So instead of the database, here we are going to connect with the files. Okay, so think of it like managing the documents on your computer using the text editor, but you're going to do it instead of a program. Okay, instead of doing it manually, we are going to do it with a program. Okay, so Java program will do it automatically for us. Now, why this file handling is important? Okay, you can save the important informations like user details or any logs or any reports. You can store the data. Programs can read the files to get the stored information. You can process the data, and also you can share the data as well. Okay, so now coming over here, how does the Java handle the files? Okay, how does Java handle the files? So here it provides some built-in tools. Okay, so we have some built-in tools. I'm sorry. Okay, we have some built-in tools to work with files. So here I'm talking about the tools. Okay, here I'm talking about the tools that I can say like classes. So here I'm referring the tools as classes. Okay, So we have some built-in classes to work with the files. The first one is your file class. Okay, file class, which is used to create, delete, and check the file details. Okay. Second, you have FileWriter. Okay, FileWriter and BufferedReader. Okay, so this is used to write data into a file. Then third, you have FileReader and BufferedReader, which is used to read the data from a file. Then fourth one is scanner class. So scanner class also used for reading the files easily. So for another purpose also we have used this scanner class. What for that? We have used the scanner for another purpose also. What was that?
Scanner for calculations.
Not for calculations. Scanner, you can see, we are seeing how Java will handle the files. We have some built-in classes. So FileWriter, FileReader, BufferedReader, right? In that we have scanner also. So scanner class is used for reading the files easily. We use the scanner class in our programs. What does scanner do? What does scanner do?
Scanner will read files. I mean the all the program input one by one, each lines.
Exactly. In the command line, what are the arguments that we have passed? That will be taken with the help of the scanner, right? So yes. Similarly, we can also read the files also. Okay, now let's go ahead and we'll see some program. Okay, so let me say let's do some file operations, okay? So file operations. So I'm just going to make use of my file class. Okay, so I'm just going to make use of the file class. So let's see how we can do it. So before we can read or write a file, first we need to create a file, right? So what we do, let's first create the file. How we can create it? Okay, so how you can create it? So let's say file. And this comes from the package that is IO package, input stream package. Okay, java.io. Okay,
Yeah.
so file. And I'm having a object, let's say new file. Now, this will create an object, but we have to pass the parameter over here. That is what the file is. So imagine like I'm saying like, okay, my file.txt. Okay, I'm saying file, my file.txt. So this is the file. I'm just going to create it. Okay, so I'm just going to say if file dot, you can see the functions over here, the methods which are associated with this particular file class. See, can execute, can read, can write. So now we are going to create a new file. So you can see create new file. So what it will do is, it will create a new empty file named by this abstract path name. And if only the file with this name does not exist. So now coming over here, if this file name is already exist, okay, it won't create the file. Suppose if this is not exist, then it will go ahead and create the file. That is what this method will do. Okay, you can see it will return true if the named file does not exist. Okay, and was created successfully. And it will return false if the named file already exists. Okay, that is what this method will do, which means like if this particular file is not present, it will create it. Okay, if this file is present, it won't do anything. So it will return false only. Okay, All right. So now let's go ahead. We want to create a file, right? So we are using create new file, and let's print a message also. Let's say like file created, okay, successfully. Okay, if you want, you can get the name also. Like let's say like file dot, you have the get name. So what this get name will do? It will return the name of the file. Okay, it will return the name of the file. Okay, let's say get name. Okay, get name. Suppose if it is not, created, we are going to print that file already exists. File already exists. Now, coming over here, we have written it correctly, but here's some red color markers coming. Why? Why it is coming like red color mark? Any guess?
Yeah, this is coming because when you written this file already exist, that time it's came actually.
Okay. Now, coming over here, if you see, when we went to fetch this method, you have this returns and throws, right?
Hmm.
So, which means that you want to enclose your function, enclose your lines with a try and catch. You have your IOException if an input output error occurred. Okay, which means like let's say in while creating the file, some error might occur. Okay, so if that error occurs, you can catch that error. Instead of giving a red color mark, you can catch that error. Even you can see over here, it says like, can you see? Unhandled exception type IOException. Either add throws keyword or surround it with try and catch. So the difference between this is, instead of having a try and catch, if I go ahead and say throws, so what will happen automatically? It will do. Okay, it will be resolved. But I wanted to know what exactly the error is all error. So based on that error, I will be doing the I will be resolving the error.
Just
Okay.
may I have 1 minute? Just
Yeah.
hello.
Yes. Okay. Shall we
Well,
continue?
yes, yes.
So now coming over here, you can control or you can provide the exception in two ways, either with a try, catch, or throws. So when you say throws, okay, automatically the error will be thrown, but you might not. You may not exactly get what exactly the error is all about. So instead of going with the throws, you can surround your lines with the try catch block. Okay, you can surround your lines with a try catch block like this. Okay, so now you can print a message also by stating that like let's say like an error occurred, and you can also see this print stack traces there, right? That will give you the message. You can also say So E is the exception that will be captured over here. So if you say E.getMessage, so that will return the detailed message string. Okay, that will return the detailed message string. So you can go ahead like this. So whatever error you are getting, that will give you with a message. Why the message, I mean, why the error occurs. Like that, the message will be, you will be getting it. Now let's go ahead. I'm not specifying the path over here. Suppose if I specify the path, it will go to that particular location. Suppose if I'm not specifying the path, where my program file is, there only it will create the file. So now let's go ahead and execute it. So you can see over here, file created successfully in the name of myfile.txt. Okay, myfile.txt. Now just let's refresh this. Okay, let's refresh this. Okay, so 1 second. Can you see here myfile.txt? Okay, it prints on my source file, right? It prints under my source folder. Okay, is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay,
So you
now
have created one file here. You have done the write operation, correct? Oh,
no,
sorry,
I have created operation.
create operation. Sorry.
Yeah, now with the in this file, we are going to do the write operation now. Okay, we have created the file with this. Okay, now if I if I recreate this again, it won't create the file, but I'll get that file already exists. So for example, if I'm deleting this, which means there is no file at all, right? If I go ahead and run, it will say file created successfully. Okay, if I do a refresh at my folder level, I will get my file. Now, if I re-execute this, though the file is already present, it won't execute. It will say like file already exists. Now, once the file is created, now we have the file, right? So we have the file. Let's go ahead and write the content into it. How you can write a content? Okay, how you can write a content. So for that, we will be using the class called FileWriter. Okay, for that, we will be having the class called FileWriter. Okay, so now let's go ahead. I'll come with the BufferedReader also. Okay, I will come with the BufferedReader also, but before to that, let's go one by one. Okay, now coming to the writer part. Okay, so let's say this file is here. Now let's go back again. Now over here. So these lines is for file creation. Okay, now let's say this is going to be file right, let's say like write operation. Okay, write operation on a file, or let's say sorry, add contents to the file. Let's say just like your write operation. Okay, now coming over here. So I'm going to make use of the class that is FileWriter. Okay, FileWriter. So you can see that also comes from the IO package. FileWriter, and I'm going to say writer over here and new FileWriter. Now here I want to specify the file. So already I have just a second. Okay, I'm sorry. Now coming over here. So here I want to specify my file. Okay, here I have to specify my file. Okay, so let me say like my file.txt. Okay, my file.txt. So we have created the file. On that particular file, we are going to write some content. Okay, we are going to write some content. So coming over here, you have to say writer.write. You have write. So you also have append. You also have append. You also have write. Let's go one by one. Okay, so now coming over here with the write. Now you can see it is of a array, character array, right? Okay, you can also see the string. Okay, so writes a string, which means like the string to be written, and you can see the characters also, array of characters which is to be written. So you can go ahead with the write over here. Okay, and here I'm going to provide the sequence of characters, which will also call it like a string. Okay, so this is a sample text, let's say. Okay, this is a sample text. Now, once you write, okay, once you write, you want to close the file. So you have to say close. You can say closes the stream. Okay, which means flushing it first. Once the stream has been closed, okay, I mean, you cannot write it anything. So let's say close. So then I'm just going to print a message. Let's say successfully wrote to the file. Okay, successfully wrote to the file. Okay, so now let's go ahead and execute it. So you can see file is already exist and successfully wrote to the file. What is that? You can see hello, this is a sample text. Okay, this is a sample text. Now coming over here, now I'm going to say here, okay, so this is a sample text. Let's say like second time. I'm modifying the content. I'm executing. So what is happening over here? It is rewriting, which means like it is replacing the existing content, right? It is replacing the existing content. But I don't want to replace it. I just want to add the data, whatever I'm adding. Okay, whatever I'm adding, it has to, whatever I'm providing, it has to add to the existing file. Already the content is there, means I want few more lines also. That is what. Okay, so in that case, what? Okay, how you can do it? Okay, so for that, you will be having an option called append. Okay, you will be having an option called append. Now, if you go ahead and execute it, okay, now execute it. Okay, let me open it. Why it is not appending? 1 second. Okay, FileWriter append. Okay, though it is, let me check. Okay, so let me say like second time. Okay, so now let's check this out. Okay, so FileWriter, here I have to specify. Okay, here I have to specify. Can you see here the Boolean append? Okay, this Boolean append, I have to say true. Okay, I have to say true if it wants to append. Okay, so now I will say true. By default, it will consider the false. Now let's go ahead. Okay, now let's go ahead and see. Okay, can you see it is getting printed? Right? You can see it is getting printed. Okay, now if you wanted a new line, you can go ahead and say /n and /n. So /n, that represents the new line, right? I will delete this. Okay, I will delete this and let's execute it. You can see over here, file is created successfully and successfully wrote to the file. Now let's refresh it. And coming over here, you can see in a new lines, we got it, right? Again, if you execute it, again, you can see, right? So if you want to add the lines to the file, which has to be added at the end of the file, you have to go ahead with the append instead of write. So now if I say this as write, okay, one thing I'm saying append, another thing I'm saying it as write. Okay, now, okay, why it is coming over here? Okay, so how many times? Let's say like, okay, I'll just delete this. Now let's go ahead. So we have over here, and then we have over here. So now, even though if you provide a write, it is just appending it. That is because of the boolean which we have given over here. Okay, that is because of the boolean value which we given over here. Okay, the true enables the append mode. Okay, the true enables the append mode. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like I'll just make here as 1 second. What I do is, okay, I'll say write only over here, and I will remove this, and then coming over here, I will say append. Okay, all right. So here we can say this. Okay, all right. Is that is
Yeah.
clear? So if you
Yeah. Yeah.
want, I'll say this as
For write, we are just using normal write, writer dot write, file writer. First, we are creating the object, then we are calling the method.
exactly. Okay.
And in for the append, we are
Yeah,
using
yeah.
the append method. In each case, we have to create the object for the file writer.
If you want, you can create. If not, you can go ahead with the existing only. For your understanding, I'm creating a new object. If not, I would have go. I mean,
It's okay. No,
I will go with the existing only. Okay.
it's okay.
You can go with the previous object only. Not a problem. Okay. All right. Now coming over here. Okay. Coming over here, we
But
have to
you have,
give
yeah, you have given writer and append method. What about the update?
update. Okay. Let's see that. So now let me say writer one dot. You have append, you have close, you have flush, notify, to string, wait, write. That's it. Update. Okay. Update is not.
Okay.
So update means, okay, so coming over here, the CRUD you said, right? So that is what, like, let's say write or append, we can say.
Okay.
Okay, write or append. Now coming over here,
Delete.
okay, you have to read. Okay, you have to read it. Okay, you have created the file, you have write the file, and now you have to read it from the file. Okay, you have to read it from the file. So let's go ahead and read it. Okay, let's go ahead and read the data. Again, so to read, we can make use of the file reader, or we can make use of the scanner class also. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Now coming over here, I'm going to say file. So let's take the same only. Let's take this file only, my text. Okay, now coming over here, I'm just going to say scanner. Okay, scanner equal to new scanner of the file which I wanted. Okay, so scanner, we have to import it from the YouTube. Okay, so we are sending the file to the scanner. Now we will be saying while, okay, while scanner dot, if it has the next line, it will return true if there is another line in the input of the scanner. So file will comes as an input over here, and if it has a next line, okay, it will, let's say, like, it will come over here. Let's say scanner dot next line. So this next line, if you see next line, what it will do, it will take the input and it will be adding it to this particular data. Okay, it returns the input. Okay, the scanner pass the current line and it returns the input. Okay, all right. So let's say next line. It takes the line and then it will be added over here. So now let's say like system dot out dot, or let's say, okay, my bad, I'll say like this. So okay. I'm just going to print the data. And once the scanner is done, I'm going to close the scanner. Okay, now let's go ahead and write it. Let's run it. So you can see here, hello, this is a sample text. Again, if you write, you can see Okay, is it clear?
Can you do again one more time?
Yeah, 1 second.
Can
I
you
just write it. Okay, file already exists. Successfully wrote to the file. That is
but
for your writer.
yeah.
Because write function is there. Write function, what it will do? It will replace everything. It will replace everything because here I didn't provide true over here. If I say true, it will append the value, right? Okay, but I didn't provide the true over here. Now for the second append, I have given the value true. So whatever you are entering, that will be appended over to your file. So that's the reason whenever you run, you're getting these 2 lines only.
So again, when you are again second time or third time running, then the first one is taking effect. It is clearing and writing the file. And
Exactly. Yes, this one. Because I didn't provide the Boolean value true over here for append.
can you just provide and run one for one
Okay,
minute?
true.
Can run one more time. So 336. Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay,
appending.
so this one I didn't provide it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we have created the file, we have appended the file. Okay, append, you can also call it like update the data. Okay, now coming over here to the read, we have done with the read. So the same thing, how you return with the file writer, the same thing you can use it for your file reader also.
Okay.
Okay, you can use it for the file reader. Now let's see that. Okay, read the data from the file using scanner method, or say it's scanner class. Okay, let me see, using scanner class. Now let me say we are going to use file reader class. Okay, now coming over here, let's say file reader. Let me say reader equal to new file reader of the file. Let me say my file.txt. Okay, so now I'm going to take character by character over here. So here I'm going with the next line, right? Line by line, I'm taking it. But here I'm going to take with the character by character. So I'm just going to say while character equal to reader dot read. Okay, I'm getting the read over here. It reads a single character. Okay, reads a single character. So character, what I'm saying, reader dot read. Okay, which is not equal to -1. Which is not equal to -1 means when there is no character, it will return -1. Okay, it will return -1 and it will say here, right? Character. Okay, and here let's see. Reader dot close. Let's see over here. Okay, if I execute it, you can see it is coming with the numbers, right? It is coming with the numbers. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a character over here. The typecasting, I'm doing it over here. Okay, now you can see. So you can see over here, it is printing by character, character by character, right? It is reading the file character by character. Okay, so let me say like using the file reader class. Okay, reading. I'll put it in the next line so that it will be easy. Because you can make use of this file reader by character by character. You can also read it with the line by line. Okay, let's see that also. Okay, so reading character by character. Okay, now let's see how you can go ahead and you can read by line. Okay, instead of character, let's see how we can read it with the line by line. Okay, so line by line, how we can do it. So for that, we will be making use of the reader called buffered reader. Okay, buffered reader. Okay, so I'm just going to make use of this file reader only. Okay, so here let's say like, okay, okay, if you want, I will add one more thing. File reader equal to, let me say file reader equal to new file reader of, we say the file as my file.txt. Then I'm going to say as a buffered reader. Okay, buffered reader. So you can see over here the buffered reader, it reads the text from the character input stream. Okay, and you can see it read for the characters, arrays and lines. You can see, okay, arrays and lines. So let's take the buffer reader. Okay, now I'm just going to say like reader equal to new buffered reader of this file I'm passing it. Okay, I'm passing the file reader object over here. Okay, file reader object over here. Okay, now I can go ahead and say string line, and I'm going to say while, okay, while line is equal to reader dot read line. So now if you say like read line, you will be happy. Okay, so let's say like, sorry, here we have b reader, right? B reader dot, you can see read line. When you go with the reader, when you go with the file reader, you will have only the character, right? So when you go with the reader, you will have, okay, you will be having only the read option, right? You will have only the read option. That read, what it will do, that what it will do, it will take single character, that reads single character. But now we want to read it as a line, right? So for that, we are going with a buffered reader. So let me say like buffered reader dot, can you see read line? Okay, so it reads the line of the text. Okay, a line is considered to be terminated by any one of the line feed. Okay, either it can be enter or anything. So let's go with the read line. If this is not equal, I mean, to -1. Okay, if your file is empty, okay, we can say it like null over here. Not character only, it will take with the int. Okay, now we can say null. It reads line by line. Now simply you can say print of line, and you can close your buffer reader. That's it. Now if you go ahead and print it, so you can see file reader class reading line by line, and this is character by character. Okay, this is character by character. Okay,
So
and
here for the reading, you are using two types method. One is character by character and one is line by line.
line by line. So if you go with the scanner, you can also go with the line by line. But if you're using file reader, you can use two ways. One is character by character you can read, or line by line you can read.
In a
Okay.
scanner, we cannot do line by line.
Character by character you cannot, because we have a next line option.
Okay.
Okay. In the scanner, we can go with the line by line only. If you want to go with the character by character, you have to go with the file reader.
Okay.
Okay, so you, with the help of this character by character, you can select how many number of I mean, how many vowels are there in your file. So those things you can you can make use of it. So small concepts that you can add it. Okay, so you can add it over here. So now we are using the file reader and we are using the buffered reader, right? So file reader will read the file character by character. Buffered reader will read line by line. And the performance of the file reader will be very slow because it reads character by character. And performance of the buffer reader will be very fast because it reads line by line. Okay, and if you're having a small file, then you can go ahead with the file reader. But if you have a large file which is having 1,000 or 10,000 lines, going ahead with the file reader, that is not the optimal solution. You can go ahead with a buffered reader. Okay, all right, and memory usage for the file reader will be low, but for the buffer reader, it is slightly higher because it uses a buffer. Okay, so when to use what? So when you use a file reader, when you use the buffer reader. So simple. Use the file reader for the small files when you need a character level control. That is what I said, you right? How many vowels are there in the file, or how many terms is there? So something like that. So those kind of things, character level control. If you have, you can go ahead with the file reader. Suppose if you want to read a large files where you want to improve the performance, then you can go ahead and we can make use of the buffer reader.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now coming over to the next, if you see,
Delete.
yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's do the delete option. Okay. So coming over here, 1 second. Let me see. Delete. Okay. Delete the file. I want to delete the file. So again, if file dot, you have option called delete. How you had the option for create a new file? The same way you have the option for delete also. You can delete it. Okay. And you're going to say like system. Okay. Let's say like deleted the file. If you want, you can go ahead and you can get the name as file dot get name. Then if you want, you can say else. You can say failed to delete the file. Okay. So this you have. You can see delete the file. So now if you go ahead and if you do the refresh, the file will not be there. Okay. So we have seen how to create the file, how to add the data, how to read the data, and how to delete the file. Okay. And you also have some properties for these files. Okay. Before we delete, let's get information from information of your file. Okay. Suppose if you want to get information. Okay. If you want to get the file info, let's say. Okay. You can get it out. How? So first you want to check whether the file exists or not. So you can say like file dot, you have the exist over here, right? You can check it out. If the file exists, you can go. If not, you can say the file does not exist. Okay, file does not exist. The file does not exist. Okay, now coming over here, you can say like, let's say file name. Okay, file name. So for that, you can say file dot get name. Right, file dot get name. So after deleting also, I will try to do this because after deleting the file, we don't have the file, right? So that time we will be getting the file does not exist, right? File does not exist. Now along with that, if you want a few more informations, let's say like the path. Okay, path. So let's say like absolute path, let's say. Okay, absolute path. Let's say like file dot get absolute path. Okay, so if you want a normal path, you can go ahead with the path and you can say file dot get path. You can
But
see
this delete method, why it's too much long actually?
this is so simple. Just file with delete. That's it. Your file will be deleted. Delete method is not so long. I'm
Then
just
what about the get file info? You are
after deleting also, I'm trying to fetch the file information because I can get this line. The file does not exist. For that, I'm just printing the file. I mean, I'm just getting the file information after you delete the file. So
okay.
before deleting the file also, we are trying to get the information. After deleting the file also, we are trying to get the information. So let's see the difference. What is the output that we are getting it?
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's say the file size. Okay. File size. Let's say file dot, you will be having length. You can see here length. Okay. It returns the length of the file. So let's say length. Okay, then if you wanted to check whether it is readable or writable, the permissions, let's say like whether it is writable. So for that, you'll be having that can write. Okay, that will say true if it is writable. And let's say like readable, and we can say plus file dot can read. Okay, now this is the information, basic information. Let's say not we are going to so deeper, just with the basic information we are seeing. Okay, now let's see. Now let's write it. Using the FileReader class, reading line by line. Okay, now coming over here, the file information. Okay, so file name is myfile.txt. The I'm sorry, the absolute path you can see here. Over there, it's there. And then path, the name of the file. File size is 73. That will come with the bytes. It's writable. It is readable also. Once we deleted the file does not exist. Okay. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So to show the difference, I added this get file info before the delete the file and after the delete the file. Okay. So you can you see, you will be getting it. So the file details you can see, and deleted the file. Once the deleted the file, when you are trying to get it, it says the file does not exist.
Then what about this line number 72, 73, 74? What is the use of this?
That is what is printed over here, right? File size, writable, readable.
Okay.
See, coming over here, before you delete the file, you're fetching the file information. Once you delete the file will not be there. So if the file is not there, how you can fetch the information?
Yeah.
So you are having a else method, that is the file does not exist. Okay. All right. So that is the reason trying to fetch the file information before the delete the file and after the delete the file.
Yeah.
Okay. So is this clear?
Yeah.
File handling. Okay. Now let's go ahead with the Q and Deque. Okay. Q and Deque. So now coming over here, just a second. Yeah. So coming over here, if you see the queue, okay, the queue interface, we will say, that comes under the collection framework. Okay, that comes under the collection framework. And this queue interface is having one more interface, that is Deque. Okay, Deque. Just a second. Let me come over here. So we have done with file handling. Now let's say queue and Deque. Okay, so let's see this. Okay, so now queue. All right, so both queue and Deque are interface. Okay, are interface in Java. Okay, so it is like collection. It's in the collection framework. Now queue, if you see, basically queue means those who come first, they will get, they will be addressed first, right? So first in, first out. That is the principle that queue follows, FIFO, right? So which is mean like first in, first out. Okay, so which means the first element added is the first to be removed. So you can say the ticket counter, right? So elements are added and elements are removed at the front only. Okay, now coming over here, if you see, let me say, okay, so coming over here, if I have a queue over here, let's say, okay, we have a person or we have we have a user over here. So the new user will be added at the end of the queue. Okay, end of the queue. Okay, and the first person in the queue will be addressed first and it will be removed from the queue. Okay, so here we will be having two pointers, that is front and rear. Okay, front and rear. So your front, okay, basically your front will be, and front and rear will be like a -1, let's say. So when the new data or when your new member is added, your front will be increased by 1. So front will be increased by 1. So your front will be 0 now. Okay, and front will be increased and rear also will be increased by 1. Now when the data, when the new, one more data is added, your rear will be increased by 1. Okay, your rear will be increased by 1, which means like front will be pointing to the first data. Your rear will be keep on increasing because your rear will point out to the last data. Front will point out to the first data. Your rear will be point out to the last data. Okay. So when you are removing the element from the queue, your front will be increased by 1. Okay. Your front will be increased by 1. And now coming over here in the queue, null operations are not allowed. Null values are not allowed. Okay. Null values are not allowed. Now coming over here, queue is like first in, first out, which means like the one who comes first will leave first, right? Okay, so now let's have a look about it. Is this clear, the queue?
Yeah.
Now coming over here, okay, let's have this. Okay, let me see, queue test. Now what I do is, let me create a queue. Queue comes from the util, and again it has a generic templates it have. Okay, so I'm just going with here, new queue. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so here you wanted to take it out. Okay, so here again you cannot say the interface, so you have to take something like a dynamic binding, you have to give it. Okay, dynamic binding. So for that we can make use of the array Deque. Okay, array Deque. Let's see what about this. Okay, now coming over here, queue is a collection where it hold a multiple elements, right? Okay, so coming over here, your queue will all follow the first in, first out. Okay, first in, first out. Now coming over here to the Deque. Coming over here with the
So this
Deque.
is a queue method. This is
Yeah,
just
queue.
one line.
Queue. No, I'll just come over here. Wait. Because when you create an object for the queue, okay, it will have all the override methods over here, right? So which we don't want to use the override. Then what we wanted to call? So we're going to do the dynamic binding, which means child class with a parent class, right? That we want to bring it out. Now coming over here with the Deque. So for that, I'm just saying this Deque. So Deque means it supports the element insertion and removal at both the ends. Your queue that supports insertion at the last and removal at the front, right? Am I right? So your queue that allows, that supports insertion at the last and removal at the first. But here Deque, if you see, it supports the element insertion and removal at both the ends. Okay, insertion and removal will be happen at the both the ends, which means like it will follow the first in, first out, and also it will follow last in, first out. So Deque will also have the stack principle and also the queue principle. Okay, all right. Is it clear? So your queue will be following the stack principle and also the queue principle. Okay. All right. So now queue implementation, as I said, it will not allow any null values. Null values are strictly prohibited. Now, how we can go ahead and make use of this queue implementation? So when you wanted to call the queue, you can go ahead with the array Deque. Array Deque. Either you can go ahead with the array Deque or you can go ahead with the PriorityQueue. Okay, but here let's talk about the array Deque. Okay, array.
But why we are taking array Deque instead of
Array
priority?
Deque, because PriorityQueue is one of the class. Array Deque is also one of the class.
Can you take the priority, please? What is the benefit of taking
I
array?
will come one by one then.
Okay.
I will come one by one. So if I take array Deque, it will be easy for you to understand. So that's the reason I took it over here. Okay. All right. We will talk about the array. We will talk about the PriorityQueue also, but after the array. After the array Deque. Now coming over here. Okay. So you will be having your queue class, which has to be external, or which has to be called with the array Deque. Okay. All right. So because queue is an interface, whereas your array Deque is a class. and we cannot create an object for the interface, right? Okay, so we have the array Deque. Now, as usual, whatever you can go ahead and create it out. Okay, I mean, whatever you want to add the methods, as you can go ahead and you can add the methods also. Okay, you can add the methods. Suppose if you want to create a Deque instead of queue, yes, you can say Deque, and then you can have a string. Okay, and you can say Deque equal to new same array array Deque, I can see it. Okay, now how we can access this? Okay, how we can access this? Because coming over here, array Deque class is the implementation of Deque interface. So if you have a queue that can add or delete the elements from either any one side only. But this array Deque will do the add, addition, and deletion at both the ends. Okay, at both the ends. Now let's see how we can use this. So now coming over here, let's say I'm saying queue dot. So now this queue is happening with the queue class. So which means like it follows only the first in, first out. Okay, it follows only the first in, first out. So you can see the methods over here. Add. Okay, let me say add the name. Let's say like Peter. Okay, and let me say queue dot add. Let me say Sean. Queue dot add, and let me say here mail. Okay, so for this I will make it as okay, let it be string only, not a problem. Okay, now if you want, you can say like, you can go ahead and you can say, okay, so let's say like elements in the queue. You want to display the message. Okay, you want to display the, display the elements which is there in the queue. Okay, let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so you can say for, I'm just going to use the for each method, which will be easy for me. Okay, so for each method, I'm just going with the queue. Okay, and here let me say names. And here let me say, okay, let me say name over here. And if I print Peter, John, Mary, the element which I have in the queue is displayed. Now, if I say, okay, if I say queue dot remove, okay, I have remove. Okay, so when I say remove, the first one who is in the queue will be removed. Okay, elements in the queue, let me say after removal. So you can go ahead and see Peter is the one who stands first and the Peter will be removed. So here you have a queue interface, which means like it follows only the first in, first out. Okay, it follows only the first in, first out. Okay, now coming over here. Okay, so coming over here, you can see like, okay, so let's say like queue dot. You can see all the methods. Now what this element will return? Okay, element will return the top, the first one, the head of the queue. Who is in the head? Okay, so now let's say system, okay, head element in the queue. Okay, head element in the queue. Let's say like queue dot element. Okay, queue dot element. 1 second. Now, if you execute it, so you have John, because Peter is, Peter we have deleted. Okay, so that's the reason. If you want, we can see over here. So first time when you say element, you can see a head element in the queue, we have Peter. And after that, we are printing the elements in the queue. But after the removal, Peter is removed. So you can see the head element is the John. So with the element, you can get to know who is in the first position. Okay, who is in the first position. Okay, is that is clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now similarly, if you go with the Deque, okay, so Deque you can access at the both the ends. Okay, you can access at the both the ends. Okay, So, okay, I think, okay, we are running out of time. Okay, I'll discuss about the Deque in the next session. Deque and the priority queue, we will discuss in the next session. Okay,
Okay, no, sir.
all right. I will share these files with you.
Yeah, please.
So I think that, but the next class, the Java basic will be done. So we will
Yeah,
be
in the
moving on
next
with the
class, if
advanced.
anything, any question I have, I will.
Yeah, I will give you like I will give you the programs of Java, the like where you can implement all your concepts, whatever you have learned.
Okay,
Okay,
so you mean some small project,
small,
like.
small, small programs. Let's say like Armstrong numbers, prime
Okay.
numbers. So those things. So when you keep on writing the small, small programs, right, it will be easy. It will give you the comfortable with the Java. I mean the what you can say like the Java programs.
Yeah, yeah. One more thing. What about the multi-threading, thread creation and deadlock? This you have covered?
Multi-threading, I will talk once. I mean, once we move on to the advanced one. This is
Okay.
just basic. Okay.
Okay, no.
Mm.
Yeah, I have downloaded. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Okay. Thank you. So I hope the concepts are clear so far, right?
Yeah. Yeah.